Hey guys, Dean Ryan Lake here. I've got another story to share with you. Now this story is my most recent one because I wrote it on a Saturday that just went. You see, I'm part of a writing group. We meet every other Saturday. I was given 2 weeks to write this story and I wrote it in an hour on the very day I was meant to give it in. But yeah, well, they enjoyed it, or were they just being nice? Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. I wrote this story and I want to share it with you. And it doesn't have a title yet because I really suck at titles. So yeah, here it's written, title TBD. Though I think I'll call it Stalker, or now I call it Stalked. Stalked. Not like the, part of the plant, like, when someone's creeping up on you, a creepy person's following you or something like that. So anyway, yeah, I'm really bad. I always go off and stuff like that, and I'm starting to do it again. So anyway, let's just get to the story, and I hope you enjoy this. He turned the key in the lock and opened the door. To his horror, he saw that same shadowy figure from earlier across the road, its face hidden by its high collar, and fedora which hung low over its eyes. He crossed the threshold and slammed the door behind him, locking it and latching it up. Breathing heavily, he backed away and caught sight of himself in his mirror. His eyes were wide and wild, his bottom lip was quivering uncontrollably, and his normally neat hair was messy, strands dropping sporadically over his face. He put his hand to his chest, feeling his heart beating painfully, as though no longer wanting to be part of his body. He ran his fingers along his arm, feeling the goosebumps which flared upon his flesh. He inched towards the door and gazed through the peephole, sighting the mysterious figure in the same place. He backed away again. Why on earth was this thing following him? What did it want with him? What did it want to do with him? Struggling to swallow, he edged over to the peephole again, one eye closed, and peered through. He leapt back, letting out a scream, and banged into his radiator. There was an eye staring at him, of yellow sclera and a red pupil. His hand shook, his heart beat impossibly faster, and the sensation of lightheadedness washed over him. He dug his hand into his pocket and pulled out his mobile, dialing 999, hoping his voice would not fail him as he sought help. It rang once. It rang twice. Then nothing. He glared at his mobile, as dead as a dodo. How the hell could that have happened? It was on 80% just then, and it was in perfect working condition. Damn! And he did not even have a landline. Bang! He stumbled, tripping over his own feet and falling to the floor, as another bang came at the door. Then another. And another. Bang! 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 They were so ferocious he could swear the door would break down. But maybe the noise would awaken his neighbours and they would arrive to see what was happening, perhaps even phone the police for him. If that was the case, then all he needed to do was wait it out. The banging continued as he flew up his stairs, raced into his bathroom and shut the door. He left the light off and crouched underneath his sink, his back to his shower, concealed by a teal curtain. He could no longer hear the banging and wondered if it was out of his earshot. He shook his head. It was not possible. That din was loud enough to raise the dead. It had definitely ceased trying to force its way in, perhaps unnerved by his neighbours appearing. Sighing, he stood up and chuckled. If it was his neighbours, then he would absolutely have to buy them a thank you present. As he made his way to leave the bathroom, suddenly, there came the sound of a shower turning on, the sound of water hitting the acrylic floor. His blood froze. His heart leapt into his throat. He should have run. He should have jumped out the window. He should have screamed at the top of his lungs. Yet he did not. No, he slowly turned around, arm outstretched, and stepped towards the shower. His fingers gripped the curtain, moist with droplets and steam, and took a deep breath. He pulled the curtain aside and there was nothing. Jaw dropped. He stared numbly into the shower, brain more befuddled than it had ever been before. Reaching for the tap, he turned it off and scratched his head, his body still plagued by dread. Maybe he should have headed to his neighbours instead. Maybe it was still an option now. He swiveled around and ran straight into the mysterious figure. His voice caught in his throat. He staggered as nausea overcame him. His bladder emptied. The mysterious figure held out its hand, a decrepit hand of loose, grey skin, and covered his face. Then there was indescribable agony, the sensation of falling, and nothing. Yep, and that's my story, which we're now dubbing Stalked. Yep, you can tell it was a short story that I did very quickly, but I just felt like, I wanted to share it with you guys. I've got other short stories, but, I thought let's just do something that I've done recently, So, yeah, that's just it. I really, really hope you enjoyed this, and, yeah, even though I just wrote it randomly, I guess it does have its lessons, or its lesson, and the lesson is, if you're being stalked by some sort of creature or something, don't run upstairs into your bathroom, go to the neighbours or something, That's just, rule 101 in horror movies and stuff. You don't do that. If you do come across some creature like that, I don't know if you would. If you did, it'd be cool to me, because, I think it'd be cool, but to you it wouldn't be if it's coming after you. But anyway, maybe that's not the best lesson. Nah, there's no lesson, just treat it as entertainment. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story, and yeah, I really, really, really hope you have a nice day, and I thank you so much. See ya!